Alright, what's up guys? Tony here from Tony's Toolbox, and I'm actually in the middle of doing my front axle's gasket replacement. Wow, the lighting sucks over here. Alright, I'm going to start over with the flash on, maybe? Hold on, let me see if I can get in there a little bit better where I don't have to bother. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's not too bad. Alright, so this is the front. I'm starting here. Like I said, I was already in the middle of the job, and I decided to have a smoke break, and then I'm like, oh wait, maybe I should put this on camera in case anyone cares. Alright, so I already started. This is the front side of the Wrangler. It's a 97. It's a TJ, if anyone's interested in that in the future. Got these 10 bolts that are a half-inch. Most of them I was able to get off with the gun. The only one that sucked was at the top. Right back past this one. This is the dead top center one. There's one more back here. That one had some stuff in the way, so that was the only one that was kind of rough to get out, but it's really easy. This isn't brain surgery here. What I like to do is the first thing, I'm kind of going upside down now. The first thing I like to do is take the drain plug out. You want to make sure, or the fill plug rather, you want to make sure that comes out before you do anything, because if that thing's frozen or seized, especially for me, like I live in the Rust Belt, I don't know if you could tell, it's actually a pretty clean Jeep for the area, and you can see how much rust is on it. And if this thing's seized, you don't want to crack everything loose, because then you can't even go to the parts store or do anything. You're screwed. So you always want to make sure this comes out first. As soon as that's done, what I like to do is take all the bottom ones out. Like I said, I'm kind of upside down right now, and leave the topmost one. What I do is crack it loose, and now I'm going to just lightly tap this a couple times with like a dead blow or a rubber mallet and crack it loose. So you have the one screw up top holding it on, and that is going to allow all of your fluid to go in the drain plug. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll go from there. Unfortunately, the guy who did it before me was too cheap to go to the store and get the $2.50 gasket. So you RTV'd everything, which seals just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of, in my opinion, the crappy, lazy way to do something. And it leaves the next guy with a headache, because now I gotta take a gasket scraper to the entire axle, which loses a lot of time. You know, it saves that guy 5 minutes and it screws the next guy. So I just don't work that way, but I mean, it's fine if you do. So I'll stop the video right here. I'm going to pop it loose and show you guys what's inside. Alright, and here we go. I got it popped open a little bit. This is why you want to leave the top screw in. There's not much in here, but you know, if you leave the top screw in, it's less likely to leave a mess. It'll drip out this way nicely into a pan, as opposed to all over the place. And once you get a majority of it out of there, as you can see, this is pretty old. I did pick this Jeep up used. So it's probably been a while since this has been done. But yeah, after, you know, this will take a few minutes, and once it's all drained out, you can take that last screw out. And that's where I'll resume the video, and I'm going to show you the mess the guy that did this before me left with all this RTV, and why you should just go get a gasket. Like I said, it's fine either way if RTV is all you got, but in my opinion, it's just the sloppy way to do stuff. They make gaskets for a reason, and they work. We've been using them since the beginning of time. So, I'll be right back. Alright, so here we go. We got the cover off. Careful and have shop rags around. Don't pull a Tony and drop it into your drain pan. It's not a big deal if you do. Just gotta clean it off now. I'm gonna wipe this whole thing out, clean it out. You want to check if there's any metal shavings in here. A little bit's natural. It's going to happen over the course of metal rubbing against metal, especially on a Jeep like mine. It's got over 100,000 on it. This is the mess I'm talking about. I got to go around and get all this with the gasket scraper now. It's going to be on this side as well as the actual axle. And while you're under there, I'm not going to do this well on camera because I don't have 2 hands to do it with. But since you got this open, what you're going to want to do is kind of visually inspect it, and for the same thing, make sure none of the gears are cracked or missing, because that would be a bad sign. And mine, just quickly glancing through the camera, looks like it's in great condition. You're going to want to double check and make sure everything's functioning correctly. I mean, you got it open anyway, you might as well give it a visual look. And here's some of the other RTV and stuff that I gotta go around and scrape all of this off so that I get a clean seal again. It's just a big headache. That's why I hate RTV. Stuff works, but what can you do? What's done is done. So yeah, give it a quick once over. Make sure you scrape both sides. You want it to be nice and clean so that you get a leakless seal once you put the new gasket in there. So just keep leaving the drain plug under there while you clean the cap off, and then most of it should be done draining, and then you can scrape this side and start the reassembly. All right. All right, here we go. Here's the final product in the drain pan once it's done dripping. You want to make sure you don't have any metal shards in there as well, kind of briefly. All that junk floating around in there, that's not metal. That's RTV that needed to get scratched off. So it's actually pretty clean. It was pretty low, though. 4x4 worked well all winter, but I don't know the last time it was changed. It looks really old. I bought it in the fall this past year, so I figured, hey, let's do it. You know what I mean? I'm going to do front and rear. So this is just the front. It's not enough fluid, so it was obviously low, but it is clean. I didn't find too much metal anywhere. Really didn't see any, to be honest. This is nice and clean now. Same thing with under the Jeep. So I'm going to get everything set up to put everything back together. See how that goes. So I'll be right back. About done, guys. What I did was I went around and first lightly put all of the screws back in. Then I went around and snugged them a little bit up, hand tight. You want to slowly put pressure, I found, is the best way to get a nice seal. And you want to go, you don't want to go around. I usually I cross them, I'll go from like here, over here, and then up here, and then back here, and then, here up, I'll kind of just switch around and slowly keep putting pressure. You don't want to torque one all the way down and leave the other ones unscrewed. You want to slowly keep switching off between all the different bolts and pressing it in. Then I looked it up on my thing. These have to be snug, but they don't have to be like crazy tight, so you don't want to go too nuts. I looked mine up on my particular Jeep for this year, and model is 30 foot-pounds around all of these. So get your torque wrench out if you have one. If not, I'm sure you'll be okay as long as you don't crazily torque them down, but you really should get a torque wrench for this kind of stuff. And as long as you keep even pressure, as even as you can, with just a ratchet or whatever. But I'm going to go around and torque them all down to proper specs, the right way. 30 foot-pounds on this one. It'll change by, axle year, manufacturer, and all that stuff, obviously. But they're all going to be probably pretty close to that. I don't see any being less than 25. I don't see any manufacturer being more than 40. Yeah, so I'm going to go around and do that. I'm going to do my back as well, but I don't think I'm going to film that one. It's essentially the exact same process. But I'll be right back after this is finished, and then we're going to go ahead and put the new oil in and put the cover back on, and you're done. Or the drain plug. So, be right back. Alright guys, there's a couple ways to do this. They do sell pumps for these, which make your life a lot easier, but I forgot to pick one up. I've had one in the past. I don't know where the hell it is, because they're almost disposable. They're like $6 or $7, and they're all caked up with the old oil at that point, and I don't know if I just tossed it last time I did this on a different vehicle or what have you, but you can do it the old-fashioned way and just kind of find a way to tip this into here. You can also, I've seen people even use like rubber hose and just kind of put this upside down somewhere in the engine bay way up there and just have it kind of slowly drip into here. But essentially what you're trying to do when you know it's full is the second it starts leaking out of there. So basically your fill line is your fill plug. Where is it? Right here. So as soon as it starts coming out of here, you know you're full. That's how much from here to here. That's how much you want to be in the differential. So I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm just going to kind of tip it in here somewhere and start squeezing the bottle until that fills up. It is the harder and more time-consuming way to do it, but that's what I'm stuck doing right now. As you see, it took a little over 1 and a bit, and it started coming out, so I capped it up right away. Started dripping out. That means it's full. Go ahead and snug it up, wipe this down, and you are done. The final piece, once everything's done and wiped down, you just go ahead and stick a 3/8 ratchet straight into the drain plug. I figured I'd show this part since I didn't show it on the disassembly. So you just go ahead and put that in and snug it down. I already kind of did it, but you know, you're good. And look, oh my God, look people, no leaks without RTV. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. So that's it. It's really not hard, guys. This is one of those things that as long as you're a little mechanical, you can save a ton of money. This, you can get it done for like, I don't know, $15, $20, depending on the oil you need. Mine's a little bit more expensive. Mine takes synthetic and expensive gear oil, essentially. But the gaskets are like $3 or $4, and it just takes a little bit of time and a couple sockets. Anyone with a little basic know-how, this, in my opinion, is like a step up from, you know, really easy stuff. Maybe like harder than an oil change, but easier than even brakes, and brakes aren't bad in my opinion either. So this is like a good entry-level car maintenance, and it could save you a ton of money. Like I said, it's like maybe 15 or 20 bucks, and you know, if you go get it done even by the little 16-year-olds at Jiffy Lube or whatever, I mean, this is like a $100, you know, service for something that, I mean, it took me maybe a little over 35, 40 minutes because I stopped every 2 seconds to tape or to film, and I also had to do a lot of cleaning up because the guy before me used the RTV, and that wastes a lot of time. If it would just been the paper gasket like it's supposed to be, I would have saved a lot of time, and also, you know, had I not been recording. So, I mean, you could honestly do this in like 20 minutes and save yourself, you know, 70, 80 bucks in the process. So, I hope you enjoyed. I'm about to do my rear, which is essentially identical. I don't see a point in taping that one as well. It's the same thing. You take the bolts off the same way, leave the top one in, let the fluid drain out, clean it up, and then go ahead and, you know, put everything back together. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.